So again, people from FB, from GIC, we are glad today that you are together with us and to learn. You know, this topic is a very, for me, it's an intimidating topic initially because it says 5 tools that makes the rich becomes richer. But we are glad that we are together in listening to the topic today because from now onwards, that we at least have some information on how we can be part of the people that actually have this knowledge. And tonight, we are very glad that we are going to have a speaker. His name actually is Mr. Roy Ong. Mr. Roy Ong is an engineer by profession. He may look young to you, but then again, he's very highly qualified, highly experienced in managing projects. Although initially when he came joining MCM, initially he was a very skeptical person. But being well learned and actually being curious, eventually he became part of the team. And today, I believe from my discussion with him and also my chance of being able to talk with him, he has succeeded in many projects with a handsome return. So how actually the rich become richer and how this tool can be useful to you, it's all in this topic tonight. And may we put our hands together for Mr. Roy Ong.
Hello everyone on the line, in the Zoom, and also in our Facebook. Today we have a 2 session. One in the Zoom is for our GIC members, and one is on the Facebook. We have quite a couple of audience there actually listen to us. Thank you for supporting, and thank you, Charles, for the introduction. My name is Roy Ong. I have been with MCM for the past 5 years, and as what Charles says, that actually I'm quite interested in the investment, and actually I would like to learn more about the investment knowledge. Then during that time, I actually personally, I know Professor Max, the founders of MCN, and then I approached him and I talked to him and tried to pick up some of his mind about the investment. Then until today, actually, we have been together in the MCM for the past 5 years. And I'm really grateful that there is this platform, the GIC Global Investment Community, that let me have learned a lot of investment things inside this platform. Okay, without further ado, I would like to share my screen here. Can you see the screen? If you can see the screen, can you please send me a message? 1. Okay. Okay, all right. So today the topic, as MC says, is the 5 tools that make the rich becomes richer. But actually, in fact, that I'm not focusing on the tools, but actually focusing on how the rich thinks and what is actually in the market, what is happening. As a disclaimer, we are not the investment guru. I'm not the investment guru. I just learned the investment with all my best friends here and also the GIC members. And actually a lot of the members who are the investor are better than me. Actually, I learned from them quite a lot. And then when throughout this journey, we see that there's a lot of thing in the market that actually a lot of people, they misunderstand the concept, or maybe they actually do it wrongly, or maybe they take the investment like the gamble and they thought the gambling is investment. So I think that's not right. So today when we come out with this topic, I would like to actually share with you how the real investors, like the rich investor, how they think and what they do throughout this investment journey. All right, okay. Oh, sorry, I shared the wrong screen. Okay. Okay, give me just seconds before I can continue. Okay. Okay, so this is the screen I would like to share with you. Okay, so the 5 tools that make the rich become richer. Maybe you are actually wondering what is the 5 tools that the rich want to use, how they use, and how they do in order for them to get rich through the investment. But before we start, I would like to paint a whole picture. So if let's say you capture the whole picture, then it's more easy for you to understand why they use these tools for towards their successful investment. Okay. So the first thing, the first thing that the Warren Buffett say is never depend on the single income. Make investment to create the second source or third source or fourth source. So you always have to remember that never rely on just a single income. Of course, I'm aware that most of us are actually working for others, and then some are the entrepreneurs who have your own business, but always start your investment as early as possible. And in the later stage, the investment itself become the passive income. It might free you up so that you can have a focus to do whatever you want. That's the freedom that we are talking about. So some people say that I have the option to work. I work because I want to, not because I have to. So that is always the thing in mind. You start your investment to actually have the freedom for you to do whatever thing, maybe after the your retirement age. Okay. And the mindset of those people who move from a poverty into the wealth. So this is the first thing is the long-term vision and a plan. So whenever we talk about the investment, we are not talking about the gambling, because a lot of people, they have a gambling mindset. They want to have the ROI, want to have the return in a very short period of time. For example, some people want to actually expect to have a very short period of just few months. You have the type of the return that is the crazy returns. And the second thing is they believe in the delayed gratification. Always do the saving and investment. So whatever you gain from the investment, do the reinvestment, unless that you already have enjoy the very lucrative returns from your investment. Always delay your gratification. Always think of the investment as a long-term thing, and try to reinvest whatever you gain from the investment until you are free. And they do use the power of a compounding in their favor. So this is also related to be patient, because the power of compounding will be actually your additional effort for you to make your investment become very successful. Okay. And this slide actually is very interesting, and it actually echoes what the investment gurus always talk about this. This is a newspaper cutting talking about a lady 44 years ago. She deposited 1,200 into the bank. And after 44 years, guess what? She actually withdrew her money and found out that she get back 2,684. So I've roughly calculated the ROI, the saving return for this 44 years. How much the bank gave her is 2.3%, which is slightly like the saving returns, returns, the dividend for her. So you see that actually what happened is during these 44 years, for 1,200 during that time is considered very huge, is considered a sum that can let you do a lot of things. For example, you can invest in a land, a small piece of land, you can build a small bungalow during that time. But now if let's say you use this $2,684, what can you do? Actually, sometimes you think about it, it sounds like it's not much different, because 1,002 to 2,006 sounds like is a double up, but actually because of the inflation, because of a loss of the cost of opportunities, this is actually just nothing. So you always have a mindset that whenever you have the funds and amount of money, how you are going to use this. You invest it wisely, or you just sit there and do nothing. Okay, and this is a cash flow quadrant that we always talk about. The first one is E, which is employee, which is almost 90, almost more than 80% of us are the employees, and the self-employed is another 15%. So it comprises of 95% of us are in the left quadrant, which is an employee or self-employed, which means you own your own small business, and then you have to work in order to get your paycheck. But the right-hand side, on the other hand, is a business owner and also the investor. So at the right-hand side, which is it means that the money works for you or the systems work for you. System means a business. So whenever you stop working, actually you still enjoy the income every month. So the biggest difference is that in the market, because there's a lot of opportunities, but some people choose not to actually grab the opportunities. They choose to stay in their job. There's nothing wrong, but always remember this: even if you are working for other people, there's nothing wrong with that. But you always have to invest yourself, because investment is the second source that the Warren Buffett just now mentioned. So you have to always think of a way for you to have a backup plan. We call it as a plan B. So for those self-employed and the employee, always do the investment, regardless of whatever investment, please invest. So this is a thing, the point that I would like to deliver to you. But of course, a lot of people will ask that what kind of investment out there that I can actually invest. I'm sure that a lot of newbies who just graduated will ask what kind of investment, because if I invest in stock, I don't understand stock, how it works. If I invest in the property, I also don't understand how it works, or maybe I don't have experience, or maybe the investment actually require a huge amount of capital. So so different type of investment have a different advantage. Just I know that, but please always bear in mind the concept is itself. If you are today you are putting your money into the bank, we call it as a saving. It's just like something like a machine. This ATM machine may be a bit misleading. Okay, you treat it as a machine. When you put whatever saving into the machine, then during the time that you want to withdraw, they will actually give you some deposit. So whatever you withdraw is whatever you can use, correct? But some of the people, they put their time into this machine. And then after every month, end of a month, you have the paycheck. So that is called the salary. So this is another way for you to actually earn your income. But another way for you as a working class, for those majority of us are the working class, you start to invest, you put your investment into the machine. After 1 year, after 2 years, maybe after 5 years, it actually will generate the income. And then this income, if you do the reinvestment, it will actually start to build the freedom that you want. So the machine itself can be anything, can be different type of investment assets. So we are not talking about what investment assets that is the best for you, because I don't know you, I don't know what is your risk appetite, I don't know your financial goal, but always think of it that you need to have some machine or a tool that help you to free yourself up. Okay, of course, at the end of it, at the end of the day, you have to have an end in your mind is why you want to invest. Of course, there is a goal. There is always a goal for you. For example, like some people want to have a financial security when you get sick, when you need the emergency fund. There's some fund reserve to help you during that time. Or maybe financial independent, you don't want to depend on your kids, on your children. You have your funds to help you out. Or you want to build and grow your wealth. Or maybe some of the people, they want to attain the goals. The goals is not necessarily the material type of goals. We are talking about some of the people, they want to do the charity, they want to contribute to the society. That is also one of the goals that why they invest, because they invest whatever they gain, they actually want to contribute back to the society. Okay, so of course there is a differing schools of thought in the investment. You see that there's a lots of a different type, but basically when you summarize it, actually it comes back to these two type of investing mindset. First is growth investing. The second one is the value investing. So this is a two strategy of investing. Why today I want to focus on this is because this is very crucial for you to actually decide what is your investment plan for the next few years. Of course, what is a different is growth investing is actually looking for those investment asset that can actually demonstrate the better average gain in the recent years, which continue growing. For example, you invest in the company that at the moment it doesn't actually show you the potential of the the profit at the moment, but you can see the potential of it keep on growing. And normally this is a higher price, and it actually happens in some of emerging markets and also some of a smaller market. Okay, so this is clear. And some of the investors, they are looking for the value. They call it as a buy low and sell high. So they invest in the company which is undervalued, or maybe the company which is generally really lower price than the market. So so we call it as a value investing. But you also can actually combine this together, and this one will require for you to have the business sense. So you have to understand the whole thing. You can actually buy an undervalued company which is growing as well. I repeat now, you can actually buy an undervalued company at a growing stage as well. So all this actually you have to learn, and how you can learn it is only through the experience. You have to experience it. You have to start investing in your investment journey. You will pick up all those experience, and this experience is for your own. So we call it as an investment into yourself rather than investment into something else. Okay, right? So the 5 tools that I would like to talk about today is these 5 tools. Of course, the first one I actually mentioned that if let's say you know a lot about the overall picture of an investment, then you will actually know that what is most suitable strategy for you yourself, and what is the best investment asset that is suitable for you yourself. Okay, so the next slide will talk more on the knowledge. And the knowledge itself is very interesting part of it. If let's say you look at it properly, if today you have one apple and your friend have one apple, you have a green apple, your friend have a red apple, you exchange your apple with your friend. So how many apples do you have? You have one red apple, right? And your friend get the green apple from you, so he have one green apple. But okay, we make it like this. If today you have experience in investing in the property, and your friend has the experience invest in the stocks or a company, so if you exchange your experience and knowledge, how much knowledge do you have? You have the experience of investing in the property. At the same time, you have the knowledge of investing in the stock market. So that is why investment in the knowledge is so powerful, that you need to know the people who are really genuinely know how to do the investment, and then they will actually share with you their knowledge full-heartedly. Okay, and when we talk about this, actually we always talk about the thing that the Warren Buffett always says. Do you know that the Warren Buffett actually, what is his daily schedule? What does he do every day? A lot of people think that they have to manage his company, Berkshire Hathaway. They have to every day manage it. But actually, in his book, he mentioned this. He emphasized this many times. In fact, that 70% of his time he actually allocated it into learning. How to learn? He reads the books, he reads the magazine, he reads the newspaper, he talked to the people in that industry, they talk to the expert in that industry, he go and meet his shareholders, he go and talk to the government agencies, so that they understand what is happening in the market. He also talked into the economists, so he can update himself the latest information that actually will affect his investment strategy. So this is something that actually is new to me, because I'm the one who always think that, oh, maybe because since he's so good in investment already, he'll always look at how to invest or maybe managing their company and let other people to gather the information for him. But actually it's not true. He himself actually put his effort in the investment knowledge, to gain the investment knowledge. Okay, so when we have the strong investment knowledge, then you have a lot of things to do. First of all, you can avoid the scam, especially in Malaysia. The scam itself is one of things that we always want to try to avoid. So there is one saying says that when the man with money meets a man with experience, the man with experience ends up with the money, and the man with the money ends up with experience. So you can see that this is the what happened in the market. If let's say you do not have the experience, don't try it the hard way. You can use your experience by actually learning from other people, learning from the right investor. You have to learn from the right people. So once you learn from it, or you get the reliable source to learn all these financial literacy and the knowledge, then you will actually have the chance to avoid all this scam or the money game. Okay, so all this newspaper cutting is nothing new, so I will skip this because you can easily find it in our newspaper portal, and every month you will see this. Okay, and okay, where do you able to get the information that is the right information? As I mentioned, because you can actually look for those qualified, for example, the financial portal like the Money Compass, which is very huge in Malaysia, which is already has a very long track record in the market. And inside this article in the Money Compass, it says that around 1/5 Malaysians admit to having a low confidence when it comes to the financial knowledge, or we call it as a financial literacy. And although 76% of Malaysia have the budget, they have the budget planning, but it's difficult for them to keep to it. So it means that they know it's important, but when they want to keep to it, but actually they fail because it's not easy. If let's say they don't have real determination and also the right knowledge, it's very difficult for them to keep to it. And around 1 in 5 working adults, let us reflect ourselves whether we are one of them. And 1 out of 5 working adults have not saved in the past 6 months. I think this is also old news, because the latest, the newspaper, the Star, I think recently also have a similar coverage on this. Actually is talking about after the COVID-19, actually a lot of people, actually the situation even worse, because more and more people actually do not have a saving due to the COVID-19 crisis. So if let's say we have the choice, we have an option to learn for the Money Compass, learn from the financial literacy for the Money Compass. If you think you are interested, or you think that is a good way for you to learn, for the Facebook friend, I say Facebook friend. Okay, for the Facebook friend, if let's say you want to know more about this, you can type Money Compass at the comment there. So our back end admin will actually send you a link, and then you can actually subscribe to the Money Compass. That is a qualified financial online courses. Actually, is a qualified one. So inside this, we have 70 more than 70 courses to talk about the financial literacy. I personally learned a lot, and I think that you should actually subscribe to it as well. Okay, let us move on. And also another platform, another way for you to acquire the knowledge of the investment is, of course, through a lot of free resources, because nowadays there's a lot of free resources that you can learn, and then you can not only learn of it, but you can actually practice it by your own self at your own pace. Okay, so you can learn for funding, you can learn for the legal, you can learn for the pitching. For some of the entrepreneurs, they want to do the pitching to the investor, you can learn from that. Or you want to learn the investment in the equity or property or business, or you want to learn how to do the due diligence in the proper way, or you want to learn the BILC, and BILC is one of the signature investment strategies from the MCM, founded by Professor Max Shankar. And you want to understand the market outlook, and we invited quite a numbers of the expert and the players in the market who share with our members through our GIC platform also. And if let's say you want to learn more on the knowledge on the private equity and the venture capital VC, you can actually always subscribe to this. Get your free online investment education info from this from YouTube. You can type MCM Max Capital Management, or you can type this subscribe MCM YouTube. So it will bring you to our YouTube channel. admin, can you actually type out this? I think I didn't give you the link. So you type out this at the chat box so that our audience can actually click to it and then subscribe to our YouTube. And I'm sure that you will learn a lot about things. And the best part of it, for the newest market outlook, that we'll actually keep on uploading the very quality video on it. Okay, and we have one series, we call it as a young entrepreneurs development series. So from there, you can also learn how to actually start your entrepreneurship journey as well. Okay, so take the opportunity to subscribe to our YouTube. Okay. Okay, next is another tool is the compounding. So compounding is one of the tools that the rich always use it. You have noticed that a lot of investors, like just, okay, for example, like Warren Buffett, we always talk about Warren Buffett because he's one of the most prominent and famous investor right now in the market, right? So he always mentioned about this. He will actually hold his investment for a long period. He don't do the trading. He don't actually keep on go in and out because of one of the thing is he believe in the value in the assets they invest in. And also in Malaysia, the famous stock investor called Leng Yan. I think most of you also know him. If let's say you are actually want to learn the investment, he come out with a lot of book sharing how he doing the investment. A very famous investor in Malaysia. He always emphasize that he always invest in those investment which is a long-term investment because of the effect of compounding. And the compounding interest is the eighth wonder of the world, and he who understands it earn it, he who doesn't pays it. So this is by Albert Einstein. If you use the compounding effect in your investment, actually you will earn it. But if let's say you don't understand it and you let the credit card to compound the interest onto your debts, then you have to pay it. Understand? So that is a thing that we always want to emphasize. And the time is your best friend. Impulse is your enemy. Take advantage of a compound interest and do not captivated by the sirens of the market. Because a lot of people is so emotional and easily affected by the news, the so-called insider news. Then they will actually be actually making the wrong decision. But in fact, the compounding interest, some of the people say it's not really exciting because it just gives me 5% per annum or 10% per annum. But actually, in fact, that is your investment goal realistic? You are actually asking for unrealistic return. So this is just like when you go to the fun fair, you have the toasting of the ring onto the Coca-Cola bottles. If let's say the nearer one, you can actually toast it and it actually goes into the nearest bottle, you'll get a small gift. But the furthest one, if let's say you are able to actually toast and capture it, then you'll have a bigger gift, correct? So some people will always aim for the furthest one because they hope to have unrealistic goal. And you'll see that forever they won't get that kind of returns because it's not realistic, it's not fundamentally sound. But if let's say those bottles is very near to you and you can easily actually do it, you can repeating your own toasting in a very short time of a period, and the compounding effect will makes the effect, because the compounding will place the effect onto your capital at the same time onto your dividend or your interest. So Bezos asked Warren Buffett, why everyone doesn't copy your simple investing strategy and make a fortune? Because Warren Buffett always talk about his strategy. Everyone knows that it's not a secret. But because no one wants to get rich slow, this is a reply from Warren Buffett. This is a real thing, the real words from the man himself, the mouth of himself. Okay, so it says he actually is talking about this is because he always used the compounding as his tool to actually grow his wealth. Okay, so I don't have much time. I will go through very quickly because most of you will know that if without the compounding 100,000 after 10 years and you don't invest is 100,000. If 3% of interest per annum, 100,000 after 10 years with a compounding is 134,000. But with a 10% of a per annum is a lot more than 3%, correct? A lot more, I think 3 times the return. And without the compounding, after 10 years, you only get 200,000. Means that after 10 years is double up. But if let's say you use the compounding effect for the on top of a 10%, actually you have additional 57,000 57,000 on top of the 100,000 of the return that you enjoy. So this is a very huge amount that you actually again is in other words, you are enjoying 57% additional. Okay, and some people might say, okay, especially those who are still working at the moment and don't have enough capital to invest, don't have 100,000 to invest. So do you able to actually save 800 per month and do the investment? For example, this is an example, okay? So if 800 ringgit means that after one year, you will save 10,000. So every year you put 10,000 and we compound it, means that you don't take out the returns and the capital and use it. You just do the reinvestment every year. After 10 years, you'll get 175,000. It's almost like the investment that you never have a compounding. So this is already almost like this, but you have to remember this one is a one shot. You have to pay 100,000, but this one is every year you just invest 10,000 only, but it's already can achieve this kind of result. So it's amazing, doesn't it? So the compounding is very important. Of course, you will also want to know that if 10% of the return, if I do not add on investing, I just let it compound by itself. After how many years can I double up my return? It's only 7.2 years if we are talking about the 10%. So this is a rule of 72. You 72 divided by the annual rate of a return means that every year how much return that the investment asset can generate to you. So in this case, is 10% means that only just 7.2 years your capital will double. For example, 100,000 become 200,000. You earn another 100,000. Okay. So the number 3 is leverage. And okay, this is my favorite topic, but I just summarize it into a very short, a few slides. So the leveraging itself is talking about you use the lowest or the least resources, but you get the most out of it, the most of a profit or the most of the return out of it. So this is called leveraging. Okay, so there are a lot of different type of leveraging in the market that some may not aware. For example, if today you are investing in the property, and then you get the loan from the bank actually loan you 90%, and you pay the down payment 10%. So it's 1/9. So actually you are leveraging on other people's money. But when you make profit from your property investment, do you need to pay the profit? You pay 90% of your profit to the bank. You don't need to, because whatever money you make is yours. So you just pay a very small amount, but you can actually get a lot of out of that. So the rich people also know how to leverage. But bear in mind, this is a double edge of the sword, because if let's say you make money, it will amplify your profit. But if you lose money, it will amplify your losses as well. So always make a wise investment by actually analyze what you are investing in. The second thing is the time. I'm sure that if let's say today you are not the full-time investor, it's quite difficult for you to spend the whole day just to do the analysis and do the due diligence and do all the homework. So you might need to actually have someone to actually do it for you. But remember, it doesn't mean that you have to fully actually absorb whatever people pass to you, because this is only their homework. You still have to work it out for your own self. So in order to do your own due diligence. In another way of other people's time is that when you invest in other people's company, the company actually when they run, they generate the profit, you earn as well. So you are also leveraging on the company staff and company's founders' time to your benefits, to your advantage. So that's other people's time. The third one is other people's experience. This one personally, I have one very remarkable experience is because when I was from the engineering background, but when it comes to the investment, actually I know nothing about the agriculture. I know nothing about the F&B industry. I know nothing about the wellness. But because of the experience, because of the knowledge, because of the communication I learned from the other people, actually during that period, I also learned a lot of things which is out of my scope. So this is other people's experience. Like Warren Buffett, although he is one of the best investor and prominent investor in the world, but it's impossible for him to have experience of every industry or all industry. He still have to learn from other people. So this is one of the things that I would like to express. Other people's idea, like you invest in some startups company, they have a very good idea, which you never think of. Like if today, if let's say you are, if 6 years ago, 7 years ago, you invest in the Grab, during that time is my taxi. You invest in the Grab company, the e-hailing company, then during that time, the idea is not from yours, it's ideas from other people. But these ideas, it works during that time because during that time, it solves a lot of a problem. So you can actually leverage on other people's idea in your investment as well. Okay, and of course, we already mentioned about other people's work, other people's qualification. For example, some of project, it needs some of the people who are qualified to actually enjoy the deal, but you actually can leverage on other people's qualification as well. And also you can actually leverage on other people's network. For example, because of some network, you are allowed to access to some deals that actually you don't know the boss. But because of this network, you are allowed to introduce to the boss, so you know some of the deals. So all these are the about the leveraging. Okay, so number 4 is a hedging. The rich people always have the risk management strategy. They also have the hedging strategy against the, for example, inflation, for example, the currency depreciation. So all this, you need to have a proper strategy to actually cater off. And it actually protects the investor against the decrease of a purchasing power of money, which is the inflation. And some people invest in gold. One of the reasons is because gold, growing equity, and the real estate have the reputation as the good inflation hedges. So you can do the hedging against the inflation through this. But of course, you have to study by your own self, have to actually study it, learn from the qualified advisor, the qualified investment advisor, so they can actually guide you on this, okay? And hedging itself, like this is very good example during the 1967 to 1982. During that time, 150 ringgit can actually buy you almost the whole shop already. But after 10 years later, you see the product becomes lesser. And 10 years ago, you can buy only just a trolley. And now, if let's say you go to Lazada, you buy 3 kg of the Milo, actually it's 55 ringgit, one packet. 55 ringgit. So you see that the money, instead of the purchasing power of our money, actually keep on reducing. So you have to put your money under certain asset or investment asset that can actually allow you to hedge against the inflation. This is what I mean. Okay, the last thing and also the last point of today, the session, is the diversification. So diversification is do not put everything under one basket. So if let's say there is something happen to this basket, actually you lose everything. So this is quite a common strategy that the investor will actually do the investment. And the idea behind is the diversification is that a variety of investment will yield a higher return. This is basically the belief of an investor in the market. And the investor will face a lower risk by investing in the different vehicles. For example, some people diversify by industry. Some people invest in different countries. Like the MCM, we actually have a lot of investors already invest in different countries. Like me, myself, I also invest in a couple of different countries when I joined it. And also some people invest in the different asset type and the company. Right? For example, like the industry itself, if during the normal time you don't feel it because you think that maybe I invest in the tourism, I invest in the e-commerce, okay, but nothing happened. But when there is some disaster, or for example, like pandemic crisis happens, then you will see the difference. If you put everything into the tourism during this period of time, you will actually face a lot of challenges, because you will see that maybe some of their wealth actually reduced by 90% because they just too focused on one industry. But if today you spread it well to the quality company in different industry, so some industry might be affected, but you still enjoy some good growth in other area. For example, of course, now everyone talk about the glove counters in the stock market, and now people are starting to talk about the vaccine. So if let's say you actually have the a variety of the focus that you are focused on, then it's still okay. All right. You can diversify by the industry. You see all this news in the market. You will see by the countries also, some of the country doing very well even during this type of industry, because of certain industry they are actually doing very well. And also not only industry and the country, but some of the country in certain industry they are doing very well. But this industry in other country they might not be doing very well. So different country have a different appetite, I can say, or maybe different trend in that country. All right. So when it comes to the investment, always remember these three things: right knowledge, right mindset, and right expectation. You have the right knowledge, most likely you have the right mindset already, because from the knowledge you gain, you'll see more of an experience, then you'll start to actually fine-tune your mindset easily. But the right expectation is when you do the right due diligence, you can have the right expectation. And common people have no control over their emotions and feeling, so they are easily affected by the words people say, or the news that come out from nowhere, or maybe some of their relatives tell you something that it will easily disturb your emotion, so it will affect your decision in investment making. So all this actually is not from me. Actually, this is from the summarize of a lot of investment guru, which is very successful. They also tell you the same thing. Okay, so as a conclusion, so of course we want to learn, but you'll notice that there are two types of ignorant people in the investment world. One of it is that they invest in anything without understanding it. So you will see that they invest in the money game, they invest in the scam, they invest in the company that is really a bad company, which is going south, but they just don't care. And they never plan because they are so ignorant. But another type of the ignorant people is they do not want to learn. They do not learn. They do not try to understand anything. They don't even invest in anything because they believe that everything is fake, everything is a scam. And then they tell and encourage other people not to invest as well. So you'll see that these two type of people everywhere, even on the Facebook or in everywhere. But for you yourself, if today you think that you are not the ignorant people in the investment world, so you have to start to gain your knowledge through the proper channel to the right people and the right knowledge. Okay. So I conclude my session using this slide. The knowledge is a power by the Kofi Annan, which is also always mentioned by this knowledge is power is always mentioned by our founders, Professor Max Shankar, because we always believe that the collective knowledge, if everyone in our community has a good investment knowledge, we can grow even further. If only I have the good knowledge, but the group of people have don't have good knowledge, actually we cannot actually grow together. Remember just now the first slide I talked about the apple story. If you exchange the apple, you can't have the power of the knowledge. But if you share the knowledge with each other, then we actually can multiply the knowledge, and we ourselves get the knowledge with each other as well. Okay, thank you very much. So I have